Hello, my love. Today I'm sitting here on the couch because that's how I feel. As you can see, most probably, red eyes. So, yeah, I had a release moment. I had an appointment with someone to ask for guidance and support how to navigate through the loss of your child, but also learning to let go of the little one because I want her to become more independent, going to daycare. And while I love the idea for her to go to daycare, at the same time I'm freaking out about letting go, because it's not really letting go, but it's about how to embrace the thought that she's ready for the next step. So am I. But it's also because it's, my daughter is also part of the other one who's not physically around anymore. So letting go of her going to daycare means letting go of the other one. And I know it might not make any sense to you. Even if you're maybe a mother, you're like, what the hell is she talking about? But I think you get the point that it's sometimes really hard. And not every one of us struggles with things. Some are more open about it and others not. So, my love, come here and sit down. It's so great to have you. Actually, to be honest, and that's what we can do. We're honest here. We sip truth. I actually didn't want to be here today. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna cancel and tell my friend I don't want to. I'm not feeling like it. But then I thought, there will be somebody, you, my love, listening to what I'm saying. And you maybe need the words that I'm saying. Maybe this is the message that you need to hear. So I came and I show up for me and for you. So, how was your last week? I know for some of you it's summer breaks, summer holidays. In my case, the summer break started, so the children are at home since yesterday. And my husband is at home as well. So we're going to spend a lot of family time together. Because it's been also a tough year for every one of us. Most people think, when something is gone or when you lose someone, and it's like a year or 2 years past, you should be done with it, or you should get over with. But it's not that simple. So for every one of us, it's been a really tough year. So we're really looking forward to. But hey, okay. Take a sip. I'm also going to sip from my bottle today. No coffee. I'm actually trying to cut out coffee. So cut out drinking espresso. Not true. Cappuccino. And I'm switching to mushroom coffee. Yeah. Can't say much about it yet. But if you're interested, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram or, wherever you can find me. And let me know whether, first of all, you tried it and what you think about it. So I'm really trying to stop that because I realized that I always had afternoon dips and stuff. So this can come from coffee. Okay, so let me take a little sip. Today I want to talk about asking for help. Yeah. And I know it's hard. Believe me, because when I went to the appointment, I had an incredible young lady. And she said to me, are you nervous for sitting here? Is it nerve-wracking by any means. And I said, yeah, I'm really nervous and I'm even anxious. And normally I don't have that issue, but this time I did. And the question that I asked myself is, why do I feel guilty or shame about asking for help? And then there are a few things I want to talk about. So most probably, when you feel guilty, or I think it's more shame when you ask for help, then it's most probably because when you and I, when we were little, maybe we did ask somebody for help. It doesn't necessarily need to be our parents, anyone, but we didn't get the help we wanted. Maybe we were upset as little children, or sad, but our feelings didn't matter. So when we needed help to regulate our emotions, there was no one to help us. Maybe we were so in our emotions, and what you would call it nowadays would be you threw a tantrum, I threw a tantrum. But there was nobody who could meet our needs. Because when we were little and we had these tantrums and we had these emotional outbursts, it's because we needed help. We were not able to regulate, to self-soothe ourselves. So we freaked out and we needed help, but we didn't get that help. Or we somehow learned that we should do it alone, that we need to do it alone, that nobody really gets us, that the things that we needed weren't done. They didn't meet our needs. That we were told, we're too loud, we're too noisy, girls don't do this, girls don't do that. So we thought, okay, we can't rely on these people, these caretakers, the people we're in contact with. And I want to emphasize that this has nothing to do with what your parents did wrong or not, because in my opinion, I wouldn't say there's necessarily something wrong. Most probably it's they didn't know any better. And I think that's a totally different discussion for another time. So let's park this here, but let's assume they didn't know any better. They taught you what they have been taught as well, right? So there was no room for emotions. So we thought, okay, you know what? We're in this alone, not together. And for some reason, I think we thought we can only rely on us. We've got our back and not necessarily other people. So if you can resonate with whatever I'm saying right now, I want to tell you that I see you and I feel you and I know I'm not alone. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's never been something wrong with you. Our heart got broken. That's the only thing that was broken here. Our heart got broken. So we learned to do the things our way. To not ask for help because we didn't want to be an inconvenience, right? We didn't want people to say, oh my God, you again, and rolling their eyes. Maybe we didn't want to come over weak asking for help because that's what we heard somewhere or saw somewhere or somebody said it. We were like, okay, so asking for help is actually weak. Also, maybe in a man's world where men are doing things and, they're not beings with a cycle like we do. But maybe we had to toughen up and just get things done without questioning and asking. Maybe you had a friend or a boss or a dad or whatever who said, Jesus Christ, you're asking again. So you have learned somewhere along the way that asking for help is weak. You should be ashamed of yourself if you're asking for help. And you should even feel guilty asking for help, because when I was your age, or when we were young, or blah, 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 we didn't have anyone to help us. When we were your age, we had to do it all on our own. I explained it to you already 3 times and you still keep asking. So if these are things you have heard or you remembered when you were a child, that's why you think it's hard to ask for help. And we're also living in a society where asking for help isn't something great, right? I mean, especially we women, when we ask help from others, we think they're gonna talk behind our back. They're gonna gossip. Look, she doesn't have her life figured out. Look, she's asking for help. Look, she's weak. She can't do it on her own. I don't know what she's doing all day. Shouldn't she be able to handle all her own shit? We're really good in that. We're really good in judging other women. But you know what? Asking for help is the real gem. Asking for help means, first of all, you know your self-worth. You know your boundaries. And you know how to communicate them. So, honey, when you ask for help, you can celebrate yourself, because you know you are able to carry things up until here, but not even further. You can go further, because most of us learned to keep running and running and running, because that's what we've been doing our whole life. So you can go further, but you choose not to, because you love yourself, because you respect yourself and you respect your boundaries. Asking for help has became something so negative because someone told you it's negative. I mean, look at a little baby. Look at my 2-year-old daughter. She keeps asking for help for everything. Okay, with 2, not that much anymore, because 2 is no face and everything. But she used to ask everything. She used to keep asking, can you do this? Can you do that? Because she had to rely on me. So whatever the feeling I gave her when she asked for help has been saved in her subconscious. It's safe to ask. But if I would kept telling her, Jesus, Leia, stop it. Don't do this. Don't do that. This and that. And I've told you already 5 times. So that's what you believe. You believe it's unsafe to ask for help. You believe you will be judged if you ask for help. You believe you're less worthy if you ask for help. And I know it's hard, believe me. I've been doing a lot on my own for many, many years. Also something to do with feminine and masculine energy. Again, a subject for another coffee date with you. It's hard. It's hard to ask for help. But this is the real act of self-love. Asking for help because you realize you can't do that anymore. And furthermore, let's love our body a bit more. Let's recognize the signals that it's giving. Because our body knows way before we make it click here that it's a lot. And we should treat ourselves with much more care, my love. So if you struggle with boundaries, how to feel them, how to navigate through them, I invite you to the Rebirth Circle. Let's get together and create our boundaries. Let's get together and heal the fear of asking for help. Let's get together and to make it normal to ask for help. Let's create a new narrative for women that it's safe and strong and loving and caring asking for help. For help. It's the greatest gift you can give yourself, to ask for help. Because you realize there's only so much you can do. And that there are other loving, kind, and caring people who are here to help you. They want to help you. But it's most of the time also something that we don't want to help. We do want to help, but we don't want to help. Do you know what I mean? We want to help and we complain that we don't get help. But when people offer help, we don't want the help because most probably they're not doing it the way we want it, or we're ashamed or afraid. So let that sink in. And I know it's you. Because I've been there too. And, in the Rebirth Café, I'm just talking about my own experience, how I see things. So when I tell you I've been there, I've done that, believe me. It's okay to ask for help. You were never meant to do it alone. Never. Whether you're with children or without children, it doesn't matter. We are women. We are not supposed to do it alone. Also not you. Also not me. That's why there's the Rebirth Café. So we get to do it together. We need a squad. We need a village. We need other women who are in the same situation as we are. We need to heal together. You are not meant to do it alone. So, if you're ready, you can either enter into the rebirth circle or into the soft rebellion. But remember, there's nothing wrong with you. You just learned that it's not okay to ask for help. And I would suggest to ask for help today. Something small. Ask your partner or a friend or, whoever is around if he or she wants to do something for you. It can be something small. All right, let's start with small steps because they make the change. And in most probably the first time when you ask for help, you're like uncomfortable and you're doubting and you're like, shit, I shouldn't have asked and maybe that's not good. And then you wait. You breathe 3 times and then you wait. And then you tell yourself, I am worthy to ask for help. You've got this. And I hope you really benefited from this call today. So please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you how this session was. And I can't wait to talk to you next week. Bye bye, my love.